All right. Call Allah Yamla Yahweh, by Hashem, Yahweh Shai, by Hashem Rakaha Kodash, and double honors to the elders and apostles, GMS, who do rule well, and Shalom to the hopefully elect. This is gonna be, a quick, a lesson on, man, on just on what we dealing with, man, because we coming into these times. The United States is at this point is a police state, you know. So when you out there, conduct, even in your own, your own areas. I speak this for myself too. Conduct, man. You know, I'm thinking about getting me a flute or something. Do things that like you get you something that's gonna keep you out of the devil's reach, man. Because they definitely playing games. They definitely will play games like this, man. How do I know? Because I've been through this type of shit. You know. But you gotta have to hold your peace, even if you are innocent, because the Lord will fight that battle for you. And fair use, not making any profit off of this. This is for informative purposes and pretty much educational purposes only, man. We use the scriptures to bring these things that we see to light with what we're dealing with. And you see the team right there, he put his hands up, right? Now, a situation where, you might think that you're not right or you're not wrong, You might try to argue. You might try to, get rowdy. No, you're not supposed to do that. You did exactly what he's supposed to do. You know, because it's the type of, these are the type of devils that we going up against. They devils, man, and they like that shit. You know, they like being able to abuse their power and feeling untouchable. I dealt with a lot of these cats in the military. They're devils, man. They're crazy. They ain't not in their right state of mind. And a lot of them do work in the police force. You know. I'm gonna play video again. Walking. You see all them type of guns they got. They're not here to play, man. Now they're just looking for a reason to light up, niggas or light up, young black men like a Christmas tree, man. If you a nigga, then be prepared for this type of activity to come your way. If you just out of control, I don't have to listen to nobody type of nigga. Just prepare. The Lord got these. He's preparing this devil to come for people like you. You just a young black man, so-called black man, young Israelite man in general, right? Not just black, but that's who they gonna target. They coming to target Judah, right? Just like they gonna target all the other tribes from the Northern Kingdom. So they gonna at the end of the day, you gotta be prepared for this type of stuff, man. Just agree with these devils, man. You ain't did nothing wrong. They ain't got nothing on you. Just like in the Roman Empire, if you ain't did nothing wrong, you know how to use your mouthpiece. They don't have nothing on you. But this is gonna turn into, we just want to lock people up just because we feel like it's gonna turn into that, a police state, a unlawful, a lawless nation. But as of right now, law's still in effect. So just be careful of these type of devils, man. These skinhead devils, man. When you're out there, if you go on your runs or whatever you do, I like to go for runs and walks myself. But if you're out there, just be careful of these type of people, man, because the devil is out there trying to, make you, make the accusations against you stand, man. That's the Lord is protecting us every day, you know. And I had that young man, got rowdy. No, man, I ain't doing that shit. I ain't doing that, motherfucker. You know how Jake be, man. We all from the hood, man. We know it. Some, you know what I'm saying? You know what it's like. I ain't doing shit, man. I ain't did nothing. You know how it gets, man. And he got that. You see them guns that they got. Them are assault rifles. Them are made to kill on sight. And like they got suppressors too on them. So them are made to kill on sight. You see? And that's what's being set up underneath the surface of America, man. It's gonna get ugly soon. But as for you and this truth, just know how serious it is, man. Jake doesn't. They don't really understand how serious it is, man. Most are just still going through their day-to-day lifestyles, work, eat, sleep, whatever. How whatever you gotta do. But it's gonna come a point in time where it's gonna be in your face. You're not just gonna. It's not gonna be a normal day. It's not. Just going to work ain't gonna be normal. You're gonna have to go through loops even to get in work. We just seen them, pass that law in the UK. You ain't got the chip, no work for you, right? America is the UK's niece, badass niece, man. So how much more here? That's why I'm constantly, in the spirit on fire, saying be on point, man. Even for myself, be on point, man. Holding each other accountable is a good thing. That's what we need right now, you know. Because otherwise, you're gonna go out there in a situation like that and get popped, and it's over with, man. At least you died in the truth, but you could have avoided. You could have built up more treasure. Why waste your life? Why waste time? Going back and forth with the devil. You know what he come to do. You can build up your treasures even more while you're still here. Your spiritual bank account, man. It's all right, baby. Just let them have it. Look at them motherfuckers. Man, look at that shit. And they ready to go. They ready to gun niggas down like they trying to gun down a gorilla in the zoo. This shit is fucking crazy, man. That's what I'm saying. Be on point, man. This is Matthew 5:25. It says, agree with thine adversary quickly, whilst thou art in the way with him. It says, lest at any time the adversary deliver thee to the judge, and the judge deliver thee to the officer, and thou be cast into prison. Remember, it says, verily I say unto thee, thou by no means shall come out thence till thou hast paid the uttermost farthing, man, the uttermost penny, what the Lord is getting into, right? Which is, bonds or whatever. But guess what? The Lord, they're trying to get away with those type of bonds, man. Just being able to bond out for certain criminal acts, even by state law. So it's just ain't the time to even for the word, man. Let me do a video later on, man. They actually starting to chop down on this word more. They're hiding behind leftist, talking points and leftist speaking points. Those, those ideologies, but anything that's against, the nationalists, the white nationalists, pretty much. They are white nationalists, you know. Charlie Kirk and Jesus, who the world English calls Jesus Christ, right? The false image of the Messiah. They are behind that, man. But you better understand, man. It's ain't the time. I'm gonna get this real quick too, because I believe that this will be better, beneficial with brothers who, maybe going through some things I'm going through. You know, that's why sometimes it is best if you in a position where you like, what I'm saying, you might be dolly. Hey, look, the Lord's still with you, man. Don't even worry about it. Just be dolly. Continue to build yourself up, build your spirit up. Don't take it so personal all the time, and just let things go. Pray about it, man. And you get into prayer. I pray every day, man. I'm I'm praying every day. You wouldn't believe it, man. Loud and proud sometimes. I don't want to say proud, but loud. Quietly sometimes. In meditation. You got to get into that. It helps, man. Sirach 8:15. Actually, you know what? Let's start at 13 because this is the point. You gotta understand. You fight. You behind enemy lines, man. We in the flesh. Yes, ye are gods. You're gonna die like men. We ain't gotten to that stage yet, man. We still, there's still things that have to be renewed in our minds, right? We're renewing our minds every day. The Lord is cleaning us up every day, man. There's still things we're gonna go through, things that we feel, man, right? That we're learning how to react to it in a righteous way instead of, what we've been used to doing in the world. Sirach 8 and 13. Be not surety of thy power, for if thou be surety, take care to pay it, man. Meaning, if you're sure of yourself, be understand if you're sure of what you can do with your own, whether that power come from money or your size or strength, right? Through the connections you might have, networks you might have, right? Businesses, whatever, because those things are a defense. But if you're sure of it, then you're supposed to carry yourself. You have those things. You are to carry yourself a certain way because that's you paying homage to what you have. For right now, most of us, all we have is Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai. That's more than enough. I'm telling, that's more than enough. It says verse 14 says, "Go not to the law with a judge. Go not to law with a judge, for they will judge him. They will judge for him according to his honor." You see. So if you know, so like if you're someone who's known as, not really, and you might talk your little shit every now and then, but you're not someone that's known to just go out and just cause problems with people, pick fights with people, get in people's space. You respect people's space. You're not someone that's just gonna typically go out there and want to hurt nobody. But you're gonna every now and then, me brothers gonna talk this shit, man. You gotta let it out. What better place to let it out than in the chamber of the Lord, man, with the counsel of the Lord among men that understand what you're going through. But see, when you go out in the world and you do these things, because they don't give a damn, man. They will kill you. Verse 15, it says, "Travel not by the way with a bold fellow, lest he become grievous unto thee," man. Everywhere y'all go, every time you out with something, that's really why I like to stay alone for real. These days. Every time, man, I got stories, man. Every time y'all go somewhere, it's that one. End up, you look away for 2 seconds, you look back, and motherfucker got somebody by the neck choking them out. Nah, man, we ain't supposed to be like that, man. If you're going to a place to chill, have it in your mind. I'm coming here to chill. I'm not coming here to whatever you do in your everyday life, because you can have fun. You can go to bars and do it all. I wouldn't recommend doing that as much in the times that we in, but you can do that. I would say, focus on this word more. If trying to build yourself up in the spirit, if you're trying to build yourself up, focus on this word more. But that's lawful. You can do that. Just have it in your mind. We're going here to chill. We're going here to build. If you go out with brothers, what I'm saying, we're going here to build camaraderie. We're going here to understand each other. We're going here to chill. We're here to have a good time. We're not here to fight. What I'm saying, we're not here to do none of that. But see, at the end of the day, you got to count the cost with everything that you do. When you're doing this work for the Lord, everything you got to count the cost in. Excuse me. Because some things will lead you down a path that you wasn't supposed to be in. Continue on in verse 15. It says, "For he will do according to his own will," right? The bold fellow. He don't give a damn about the team. He don't give a damn about, Johnny might get shot. Tina might get stabbed. Jeffrey might get, locked up. He don't give a damn about that. He just in the situation he's in on his own mind. I've already said, like, yeah. They ain't gonna stop me. Mighty Joe Young King Kong in this motherfucker, man. Don't travel with them, man. Folks stay away from them type of people. You got a lot of animosity in you, man. I say get you a brother that you get, you can spar with. Not in maliciousness, but it's good to spar. It's actually good to spar. Not to hurt nobody, obviously, but you get out a lot of anger. Get you a punching bag or something, some push-ups or something. That's where fitness comes into play, man. It transfers that energy, that negative energy, into a positive result. That's why I work out a lot, being honest. But anyways, continue on. It says, "And thou shalt perish with him through his folly." In verse 16, it says, "Strive not with an angry man, and go not with him into a solitary place." You see, now I'm not gonna lie, I am a disgruntled individual, but if we're being honest, we're not supposed to, you can tell the difference between how somebody's conducting them, somebody that's angry for a legitimate reason versus somebody that just wants to, a serial killer mindset. There's a complete difference, man. I have a reason why I'm angry. We have a reason why we're angry, but see, we also have a reason why we should be grateful and happy. So we combat that anger with what? Being grateful to the Lord, man. That's all. And even when I'm angry, I say, you know what? I still got this truth though. So I still got the Lord, Yahweh Shem Yahushua. So hey, there ain't really nothing more you can want other than understanding that the spirit of the Creator is dealing with you. That's a humble spirit through whatever you go through. Continuing on, verse 16, it says, "For blood is as nothing in his sight, man." Some murderers. You know what type of ninjas we talking about. If you from round the way, like I'm from round the way, you know what type of ninjas we talking about, man. Now I'm not saying that everybody around the way is like that, but a lot of times, because they may not be like that, but they around a group that's like that. Until they're really willing to separate from that, you don't deal with that, man. The Lord tells you to separate from those worldly endeavors. People with a worldly mind, we on a higher vibration than that. And like I said, it's all of these things, these epistles, man. I watch my own videos. These are all for me too, because I'm still building myself up in the spirit too. But at the end of the day, the spirit's still gonna speak. You got a lot of beautiful brothers in this truth, man. You got a lot of beautiful sisters that are in this truth. They telling you things and they're saying things for a reason. You know, you behoove you to listen sometimes. Continuing on, verse 16, it says, "And where there is no help, he will overthrow thee," man. Yeah. You know, just like in New York rain, wash away the blood. You know, it's not necessarily about being, cowardless. It's about using strategy. You behind enemy lines, man. You got ninjas that want to do things to you. You got agent provocateurs around you, right? If you in this truth, you understand. You got people provoking you at your job. You got spirits jumping on and off people to provoke your spirit. Yes, this is real. So protect your spirit, man. Protect your spirit, man. Let's get this. And this goes into, what we just saw in the video, man. You know, me personally, I don't like dealing with cops, man. Anytime I deal with cops, it's yes, sir, no, sir. No, it's not. It wasn't that, But I don't do anything wrong either, as far as their laws is concerned. Now, as far as, in myself, man, I fuck up a lot. I fuck up every day. I'm not going to front on camera. But that's why I go so much harder for Yahweh Bashim Yahushua, because you're going to need that covering. It's only when you feel like you made it and you uncorrectable is when you will fall. You will start to see yourself down that slope of pretty much pathetic pity, because people had tried to tell you and people tried to warn you, and you couldn't see past 2 seconds past yourself because you was winning too much. And sometimes the Lord will allow you to win that much just so you can be brought all the way down. So remember, man, it's really about patience and It's really about patience and being humble in this thing when you really think about it. But anyway, Sirach 9 and 12. Delight not in a thing that the ungodly have pleasure in, but remember they shall not go unpunished unto their grave. The Lord is going to deal with all your adversaries. I promise you that, because I've seen it. There's no doubt in my mind. It's how the Lord stores up judgment for people. He can get you 30 years, 10 years, 5 years from now, a year from now, a month from now, depending on how the Lord is dealing with that individual in the spirit. He already had it. He already knew from the beginning. He has judgment set up for those that come against, you know, you. And you got to pray that you stay faithful to the Lord every day, man. I pray that the Lord never take his spirit from me. But don't let these type of situations get you into something that you were not going to be able to get out of. Because you're not going to be able to get out of it if you don't have the money, or if you don't have the network, if you don't have the resources. And if you have those things we just read, you are to hold yourself by nature, by responsibility to another standard, man. Don't You're not supposed to let this type of shit really bother you, because you got people that depend on you in that position, right? So you've been built up the Lord trusts you with your position. And yeah, demons gonna mess with us. And they mess with me every day, man. Let them have it, man. I'm learning to let them have it in this flesh. Meaning just let it go. Just let them, have their little fun for now, because guess what? We gonna have our fun when it's our turn. We having fun now. You're free from a mindset that most are trapped in, that are going to take the chip, man. They're going to take the chip. A lot of people don't know how to be homeless. A lot of people don't know how to lose everything. They don't know how to take betrayal from a friend, betrayal from a brother. They don't know how to, humble themselves to someone less that's in a lesser position than them. A lot of people don't know how to do. They haven't practiced that. They haven't practiced the small things that the Lord requires. So they're not ready, and they're going to take the chip. The Lord's going to make sure they take the chip. Verse 13, I'm ending. It says, keep thee far from the men that have the power to kill. Sirach 9 and 13, keep thee far from the men that have the power to kill. Esau, Edom, man. The devils we just seen in the video. You don't just have to be them. It could be, your everyday demon out there in the world. Shit, man, I done had Eve crazy ass try to run me over with a car sometimes. Couple times, man. It ain't funny, but sometimes it is, because you gotta laugh at those type of situations, man. Because like, damn, this was demon, demon retribution on this. Anyways, so thou shalt, so shalt thou not doubt the fear of death, man. You don't go around that kind of activity. That's why I don't keep no weapons on me, man. The Lord teaches us he'll take care of you, man. He will take care of you in those situations, man. I don't like to keep weapons around me. There was a point I did, for a little bit, but then I'm like, I really don't even need it. I don't want it around me no more. I don't like people with weapons around me either, with guns and none of that. Leave them in the car if you come in this crib. So shalt thou not doubt the fear of death. And if thou come unto him, make no fault. It said, lest he take away thy life presently, man. So you stay away. You can see a demon, man. At this point, you know a demon when you see it, man. How they act, their mannerisms, you know. It says, remember that thou goest in the midst of snares, man. Yeah, snares everywhere. So we gotta, if you in this sect, man, you in a 144,000 real spiritual battle. And the devil knows that he's gonna lay snares for you. He knows who you are, right? He knows who we are. There's gonna be snares everywhere, in the spirit and in carnally. It says, it says that thou goest in the midst of snares, and that thou walkest upon the battlements of the city. Verse 14, it says, as near as thou canst, guess at thy neighbor, and consult with the wise, man. That's what we do in this, That's what these epistles is for, really. You consulting with the wise man. You consulting with wise brothers that's in this truth. Either that's been doing it for a while, been doing it for a little bit, that has experience with the world, with things of the world, that knuckleheads, or dealing with the law, dealing with, you got so many different backgrounds of this truth that's giving you game. You're not gonna get from mommy, daddy. You're not gonna get from your everyday ninja, man. And the Lord pulled you into this because He's seen you fit. This is real, man. I know I'm like be rough around the edges, but I understand how serious this is, man. And some days better than others, But at the end of the day, this is very serious, man. I like to laugh and everything too, but it's every now, we surrounded by snares, bro. People want to really kill us, man. So we can't just ignore those facts. Like we just walking into a regular world, man. When you hit them doors, if you're not praying before you hit them doors, you down bad, man. And I'm in that right there, man. Remember to pray before you hit them doors. Pray to the Lord that He takes care of everything that you might be dealing with. Now that's even for myself, man. You know what? I'm gonna go here too, because this is something I'm working on right now. I'm gonna end it right here. It's Sirach 9 and 18. This not only for me. I can guarantee you this is about a lot of insights, because the insights can talk shit, man. Sirach 9 and 18. It says, "A man of an ill tongue is dangerous in his city, and he that is rash in his talk shall be hated." You know, when we put on that cup of suffering, yeah, those demons gonna mess with you, gonna bring up memories, they're gonna, do things to F with you. Yeah, you gotta battle that, man. You gotta battle that while going into the world and accepting even the things that was done to you wrongfully. You gotta accept that, right? And you gotta control your tongue at the same time, because if you don't control your tongue, you can get the ministry blamed, and the Lord's just gonna, He's gonna leave you to the wolves, man. You don't want to lose His spirit, man. You don't want to lose the Lord's spirit. You don't want to get kicked out this truth, you know, because then you really, it says you already hated. You done built up a foundation of hate in the city, man. But there's levels to it, man. Continue to grow, man. Don't rush the process of what the Lord has planned for you. You gotta let His perfect work continue. His perfect, He knows who He already knows, man. You gotta know that He knows and that He's gonna handle it. That's really the battle in those type of situations. Like, you know what? I'm gonna let the Lord handle it. Or you know what? It's out of my. It's not. It's power that it's out of my power, man. And that's a lot of times I've had to humble down. A lot of times I get fucked over just about a lot, man. But I have to, remember it's out of my power. You gotta leave it in Yahweh Bashim Yahweh's hands, man. Because if you try to get carnal with this world, you're gonna get a carnal answer, and you're not gonna like the carnal answer. It's gonna be detrimental to your walk. You stunt your growth. You more than likely want to start all over with certain things, and stay away. The Elder Apostle Tar says, stay away from chaos goblins, man. Nah, you treat them as friends with benefits if you're able to find one. Other than that, nah, stay away from chaos goblins, man. They will drag your shit to hell. If there's any advice, man, for the majority, I'm not talking about all women, but the majority of these westernized women would drag your ass to hell, man. If you let them, man, if you don't put your foot down, then I ain't doing that. That's why you gotta gird your loins like a man. That's really why I don't deal with nobody, bro. First and foremost, there's a lot of things I'm still working on with myself that I'm finding out. And then secondly, if I done made it this far without dealing with a chaos goblin, man, I'm not finna, we already done got the game. See, I'm one of them type of people. I learned well just by watching other people's mistakes. That saying go, you can learn a lot from a fool. You learn a lot from somebody from a fool from foolish somebody else's foolish mistake. And that's what I do. I'm one of them people I could watch and like, yeah, I ain't fucking with that. What did like Day Day, not Day Day, was it Craig? Damn, I can't even think, man. Off of Friday. Daddy got out the damn car and said, no. He took one look at Debo. He already knew what it was. That's what I'm like, man. I could take a look at certain things. I already know, yeah, it ain't worth it. But nah, that don't mean you just stand for anything, man. When it comes to the Lord, we stand boldly for the name Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh, man. You don't never let nobody take that from you. But yeah, it's understand the world we're living in, bro. You around demons, agent provocateurs, weirdos, you know, pretty much people that's conformed them, their spirits conform to the world, man. They here to die, and that is what it is, man. As for you, you in this truth, man. You in the truth. You in the brotherhood. You in the truth. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? However your city, however the Lord has you dealing, but where you at, man? You around individuals that you can build with in truth and sincerity, because this ain't no joke, man. It's really not, man. I get angry, I talk a lot, but this really ain't a lot of this ain't a joke, man. This is very serious business, man. So, hope that this was edifying and exhorting to the brothers, to the sincere brothers and the sincere sister. Even, you may have children that watch this every now and then. And probably not my videos because I cuss a lot. And I need to work on that too. But at the end of the day, this is for exhortation. This is for the hopeful elect, man. Because now that you understanding the power of the Saya, the powers that be, the world that you're living in, the food fate, the industry fate, everything fate, air you breathe damn near fate. You know what I'm saying? It's real. Now you understand, why it's important, why we should be serving Yahweh by Shemi Shah to the best of our ability. So I'm gonna leave that right there. I use that video as an example of, just situations like that. It don't even have to be with the cops. It can be any situation where it's detrimental to your life or somebody else's life that can be detrimental to the ministry. Apart from it, man, just agree with them motherfuckers and let them have it. Now, you got it, bro. I'm gonna keep going. You got it? Get it? Good. So shalom to the hopeful elect. It's Rapashawab, Call Halayim La, Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem Rakah, Quadash. It's shalom to the hopeful elect.